trouble with speaking straight after lunch is, this is called the graveyard hour, where everyone falls asleep. But anyway, I'm going to do my best. Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here to talk about my path to success. Success is your own story. It's your own individual path. It's personal. Success happens when you find that thing that you're truly passionate about, you care about something deeply, no matter what the outcome is, you continue to love it, you travel the journey that comes your way joyfully. And success happens every day through the work that you do, moment by moment. It is not a title, it is not an award that you win. You ask yourself one question when you gaze on the path that comes your way. Does this path have a heart? Does it have a story? Does it resonate with something deep inside? If the answer is yes, it's a good thing and you follow the path. Success is your medicine to the world. As one of my favorite teachers, Eleanor Brower, redefines the word medicine, your medicine is your particular, specific contribution to the world. It is your kindness, your grace, your healing, your service, your art, your poetry, your talent, your gift. It's what you can offer to the world in your unique way. Now, often it happens, we are not aware of what our desire, our drive, or our passion is. What do you do then? In my case, it required a mentor to identify what I had in me and to draw that out. My mentor changed my life. And she came from one of the most unlikely places. She was my yoga student. She saw in me a desire to want to help and make a difference in the communities in Hong Kong. She made me see that I could use my skills of 14 years in financial services, largely in the banking and insurance industry, 12 years in education in Hong Kong as a teacher, and how these skills could dovetail into work in the community. So we set up a company a year and a half ago called KSMT Ventures. The goal of that company is to help disadvantaged communities in Hong Kong through high-impact programs. So all I had in front of me was a blank canvas. Making that first stroke is the most daunting task. Knowing what you do not want to do is all it takes to start the adventure of a lifetime. Now, there are various ways to help people. You can write out a check and give it to an organization that helps people, or you could donate tangible goods, food, books, clothing, property, or you could help people help themselves, which we call empowerment. And I'll explain why we chose empowerment through the story of a new arts and enterprise for women. There's a short video clip. We set up a platform called ANEW, the Arts and Enterprise for Women, where we collaborated with a local NGO um, it gave them a forum where the women could come together, engage with each other, learn the skills of running a business, how to be an entrepreneur, and engage in creativity in a very powerful and in a positive way. Now, it wasn't an easy task. I need to give you a little bit background of the refugee situation in Hong Kong. Now, vulnerable groups like refugees, when they flee their country, they often leave behind property or a position in their society, and even their hopes and potentials for a future. Now, when they come to a new country or the host country, if they are lucky, their skills are valued by the new country, and therefore the process of integration and ease of entry is simpler. However, if you come to a country where you're not wanted, it is a completely different story. Refugees need to wait for a substantial period of time, which is indefinite, to receive some sort of guidance on where they are on their status. And during that period, they're not allowed to work or earn a living. It is for this unwanted group that state agencies and NGOs provide assistance. Now, and because they're not allowed to work for a long length of time or for an indefinite period, assistance has to be given for a longer period. And the point I'm trying to make is, while assistance is necessary, and it is absolutely important to address pressing needs because it brings relief, it also has the danger to perpetuate dependency. And because of this inherent nature of assistance, it's important to call for action, call for the need for self-reliance, and therefore empowerment. ANU was not with its set of problems. It was a tough journey. There were a lot of misgivings expressed, things like the women will not turn up, attendance will be an issue, the women are from different countries in Africa, some communities do not speak to the other, Sanju, it may not work, but we decided to persist, and yes, the first 4 lessons, nobody spoke to each other, they were really quiet workshops, but today, a little over 5 projects, spanning 62 weeks, it's a completely different story. The women engage, friendships have been formed, they have bonded, they're taking better care of themselves, and we have witnessed improvement in mental states of the women. One mark of success, or one measure of success has been, I got a call from an employer in Canada where one of our women got resettled after many years in Hong Kong, and I was asked, what personal qualities did you see in that woman in your workshops, which I was able to tell him. Needless to mention, she secured the job and lives a very productive life in Canada with increased self-esteem and dignity. So what empowerment does is, it increases your self-reliance, it decreases self-blame in the face of adversity, and you take on personal responsibility. Now I'm going to switch gears and move on to making a difference, finding success in making a difference in the field of education in Hong Kong. Now, we are a very, very lucky city. Every child has a right to education by law. So everyone gets a free education if you want it. However, even in this excellent system, there are disadvantaged communities, and they are largely ethnic minorities from disadvantaged families. The problem they have is they cannot access an international school education because of financial reasons, constraints, and they cannot access the local Chinese curriculum due to language barriers and lack of sufficient support at home. So the idea of helping a school appealed to me, and the idea of adopting a school appealed to me. And against this background, we developed the BRIDGE program. BRIDGE is an acronym for Bringing Resources into Developing Great Education. So I went to the school. It was a primary school with 310 students across a range of different ethnic minorities. And the first question I asked the principal was, would you like to see some changes in your school? And she said, yes, I would. However, I'm constrained by the budgets that the government gives me or the EDB gives me. My next question to her was, so what kind of changes would you like to see? And she said, I would like to develop the curriculum, make it better, especially in maths and English. I would love to see more teacher training opportunities. I would like to see more interesting student learning experiences, and some help and resources. And immediately, I would like to see more English books in the library. Now, how does one help here if you use empowerment? This time, help was provided, mixing a bit of assistance and a lot of empowerment. So we went to the community and we galvanized individuals, galvanized schools, galvanized teachers to pitch in and help. To illustrate my point, using the power of social media, we put a shout out on Facebook and said this school needs to stock up their library overnight, and in record time, we were able to fill the library, and I teach a couple of subjects in that school as an after-school activity, and I have witnessed the reading atmosphere of the school changing. Now, success has a ripple effect, so it filtered into to other organizations. 2 international schools jumped in, 1 secondary and 1 primary, and they said they wanted to support the bridge program. We introduced the principals to each other. Learning links were set up, and to give you an example of the kind of learning links, all the maths teachers of the disadvantaged school went across to the international school, spent a day learning about concept-based maths, something they were not familiar with, and then it was followed up by the head of maths coming over to the disadvantaged school, running a full day's maths activity of a really smart program, and improving the learning opportunities of that school. Now, all this did not cost $1. The principal was empowered because she looked at solutions within the community. She didn't look at constraints. Money will always be a problem. Budgets will never be enough. But one has to try and look at creative solutions. To conclude, to make a difference, one does not have to follow the traditional path of conventional nonprofits. If you look at the literature of conventional nonprofits, you will find they tend to focus a lot on brand name awareness. They focus on textbook mission statements, big budgets, perfect management, and breakthrough ideas. To make a difference through high impact programs, you can do it at an individual level. You need to learn to advocate, share leadership, nurture networks, master the art of adaptability. I would like to end with one of my favorite quotes by Martin Luther King Jr. Life's most persistent and urgent question: what are you doing for others? Thank you.